Doesn't NYC get like a supervillain attack once a week? I gotta watch my city get burnt down in every movie. What is that about? Like every other movie I watch, they're like, oh, you know this place that you like that looks really nice to this building you've been in several times? Yeah, Godzilla stepped on it. Oh, it got laser beamed. Oh, this place got destroyed. Oh, this blah, blah. And it's always New York, man. It's always New York. I think it's just because they like the look of like the tall buildings toppling, and all the other places don't really have those tall buildings like that. They tend to grow wide rather than tall. And it just like, it's like not fun enough to knock down a 10-story building. But when you got that 25-floor building, you got that 100-floor building, oh, you know, so fun. A lot of like 50-floor ones where they'll show it getting knocked down. People only recognize New York and San Francisco. Yeah, for skyline and stuff, pretty much. And San Francisco, they don't even know the skyline. They just know the bridge, honestly. All the best writers grew up in New York. That is true. A lot of the good ones are from there, but not all. For their financial reasons to film there. They don't even film in New York for a lot of these movies. They don't. They just green screen you into New York. You can film, like they do film often enough there, but a lot of the really big ones where the place is getting destroyed, all this stuff, a lot of the time, like 90% of what you see is the actor just green screened in now. And they don't even film it in New York. They go around and they film New York without the actors there and just get certain shots to then use on the green screen and use like CG in. And usually they don't even have to like completely block off a block to do that filming, because they just need to set up a camera and leave it for a couple hours, you know. Buildings in New York City are more distinctive. Well, it's one of the, you know, it's a very old city. It's older than a lot of the West Coast stuff to start, right? And then from there, each building was known when it was made and written about in newspapers, whatever. And then those newspapers would get sent out to the rest of the country when only the East Coast cities were the big ones, you know? So even though, you know, in modern times, yeah, we've got other cities that are also important, I feel like through time, those buildings were talked about. So if someone makes a new building in San Francisco, that's cool. But everyone's going to remember the one that has been used in media and everything for the past 100 years. Because it's been around for 100 years, right? So I think it's just the age of it that makes a lot of it recognizable.
I like that the 2010's American Godzilla movie had Big G busting through Japan, then Hawaii, then straight across the whole continent to New York.
Yeah, he's Mr. Worldwide, but they don't show him ever going to like France, do they? He just like fully avoids Europe every time. If Hollywood wasn't in Cali or the US, at least half those films would be pretending the Golden Gate Bridge was next to New York. Honestly, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Every other movie I'm watching them, they're like, oh, you know this place your friend lives? It just got blown up. And I'm like, what the man? What did that building do? Sometimes they show like a really well-known building getting blown up, but then other times you just see a laser go through like 10 buildings in a row. And one of them, I'm like, that's like my friend's apartment. Like, you know, like, it's just some random residential building. Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, all New Yorkers. Yeah. If you were a person trying to hide in plain sight, that's probably the best place to be. Genuinely. It's just needle in a haystack, you know? Spider-Man Far From Home was set for the most part in Europe. Yeah, kind of a rare occurrence. I feel like most superhero stuff is set in New York because that's where the writers were or were from a lot of the time. And those types of comics with superheroes in them are American. So like, you know, they're not really going to set those in Europe much because that's just written by and for Americans for the most part. Originally, at least. Gotham's New Jersey. Yeah, wasn't it like right over the bridge? There are a bunch of parts of things that they're in the state of New Jersey, but they're essentially, like not legally, but they're basically New York City because it's just city sprawl, but west instead of east. And I feel like most people, if they were walking around, they wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They would have no idea they were in New Jersey when they're in the parts that are just like, you know, right across. Men in Black directors said that they set it in New York because no one would notice if there were aliens in New York. That is exactly what I'm saying. If you're trying to hide in plain sight, that's where you go. You got something weird about you? Okay, well, so do like 100 people that I walk past every day. Okay, I see stuff that is just absolutely bat insane constantly. Especially if you're walking around Manhattan. I mean, the craziest people go there and just walk around. And sometimes it's not even crazy. Sometimes it's just people living their lives, but it's a little odd. And you see so much of it that you get totally desensitized and it doesn't even seem weird anymore. And then you watch a movie and someone's like, oh my God, that guy's walking around and he's got a macaw on his shoulder. So crazy. And I'm like, yeah, it's his pet, right? Like little things like that. I'm like, yeah, it's his pet, whatever. I know a guy that walks around with an iguana all the time. Bro just has a pet iguana, takes it for walks. He just carries it like a baby, carries the iguana around. People pet it. Oh, so cute. And then at one point, I saw someone post a video. I don't know if it was on YouTube Shorts or TikTok, but they were like, this guy carries an iguana. And they were like, that's so crazy. And I was like, what? And like all the comments were like, holy shit, he carries an iguana. And everyone was like reacting like this is the most insane thing ever. And I was like it's weird, but like, I don't know, he's just carrying his iguana, man. But I realized, you know, you get desensitized because I've seen weirder, you know what I mean? And a lot of New Yorkers have seen weirder. So you just kind of get used to it, I guess. And because you see stuff like that so often, he's not the only iguana guy. There are several people walking around with really weird pets and everything. You just get used to it. I saw a parrot on someone's shoulder in a supermarket in my town the other day. A little parrot, that's cute. Well, birds are so, I understand anyone bringing their bird around because birds are so attached to their people. It's to a crazy degree. And some people, their birds get really stressed when they leave home and they don't, come back for a while. The bird will like freak the out depending on its personality, depending on how much it's used to that person being home, whatever. So I understand a lot of people just bringing the bird with them because it's genuinely easier on the bird mentally, emotionally for that to like go out, instead of staying home. So I feel like that's actually super normal. There's a guy by where I live who walks a duck on a leash. You get used to it. That's cute. I like ducks. What about the panther guy in the subway? Never run into that guy. I've never run into that guy. I mean, I think as long as you're licensed to legally own whatever it is that you're owning, and as long as you're giving it a better life than, the alternatives, all right. And as long as it's not hurting anybody, that's what matters. Because, people have an exotic pet and the exotic pet will be totally chill. And then some guy just has a dog that wants to kill people. And I'm like, well, do I think it's better to own pets that are more domesticated? Yeah, probably. But have I seen plenty of examples of people f***ing up with like a normal ass dog? Yeah, we all have. We all absolutely all have seen that, So if I see someone with an exotic pet and it's well behaved, I'm just like, I'm not going to ask, like... So at least they don't have like, a German shepherd that they don't give enough exercise to that's trying to rip your face off. You know what I mean? As long as they're not bothering anybody.